Good morning. Welcome to Daily Rates Live with the Mortgage Calculator. Today we are going to go through our live mortgage rates and then we're going to be talking about interest only loans. Give us just a moment here to go live on all the different platforms. I see some comments already coming in. Go ahead and drop a comment there as you tune in the chat. We got the chat up on the screen. Definitely appreciate it. Great topic here for today that we haven't gone over in a while. So that is always good stuff. All right, it looks like we're live on all the platforms, so we'll go ahead and get it started. What we'll do is we'll take the chat off the screen for now, but go ahead and keep dropping comments there in the chat. And you can also drop any questions that you have in the chat. And after we go through our deep dive topic, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. So welcome everyone. My name is Kyle Hershey. I'm the COO of the Mortgage Calculator, joined here by our president Nick Hershey and our CSO Jose Gonzalez. We are a lender that specializes in non-QM loans. And what we do every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern on this show is go through our actual live mortgage rates for a few different programs. Then we do a deep dive into a different loan topic. Today's topic is going to be interest-only loans. So we'll go through some examples and some rates for those. But first, we'll do our typical program. So, Nick, if you're ready, let's go ahead and pull up the live rates and see what they are looking like today.
All right. So, as usual, the news is always up and down. So, a little bit of back and forth here, but the general trend is down, which is good. We will check out the rates for today. It is August 16th, just after 11 a.m. Eastern. So, all of our standard programs have their initial rate sheets for today. We will compare the APR across the programs. If you'd like a full breakdown of the itemized fees that go into the APR, please get with one of our team members. They'd be happy to send over a full loan estimate. For the demo, so we can compare exactly across the programs, we'll set up a standard scenario, single family home, 500,000 purchase, 400,000 loan. That corresponds to 80% loan to value, 20% down payment. And we'll set everything to a estimated 760 credit score and an estimated 40% debt to income ratio. So with those settings, let's check out today's options. So first up, our 30-year fixed conventional option for a primary home, typically the most common option people think of when they think of a mortgage. Rates come in today, 6.125, final APR 6.428. Now, if for any reason our customer doesn't qualify for this program, we typically want to quote an FHA. FHA allows more leniency on credit issues as well as a higher debt to income ratio, but does require upfront and yearly mortgage insurance. Rates today come in at 5.25, final APR with all the costs, 6.205. So if our customer qualifies for both, they may consider FHA. Could be a touch cheaper, but does require that upfront and yearly mortgage insurance. And our customers that need to use it, definitely a good option. And our VA programs are only for eligible vets and active service members. If you are eligible, these programs are definitely amazing. Rates as low as 5.5 today. Final APR 5.810. Notice when we compare across the programs, the VA is going to be the best option for pretty much all of our VA eligible borrowers. And we'll go into our final standard option here. USDA is a government program only for USDA eligible areas, the rural areas of the country. If our property is eligible and our borrower is eligible, these are good options to look at. Rates as low as 5.375, final APR without fees, 6.113. So our customer will typically be considering USDA versus FHA, which it's cheaper than today. And it's typically always cheaper than conventional option to do a USDA if the property qualifies. So definitely keep that in mind if you're looking in those areas. So that rounds out all of our standard options here that any other bank or lender has. Now, if our customer doesn't qualify, many other banks or lenders will have to deny them. But we have over 5,000 other options. First up here, our 30-year fixed non-QM alt-doc option for a primary home. So if our borrower doesn't qualify for a standard conventional option with 2 years of documentation, tax returns, we can switch to alt-docs such as bank statements, 1099s, etc. And the rates come in today at 6.75 for a bank statement or similar. Final APR 7.067. So as usual, we're within about a half a point, about 0.6 there of conventional to use alternative docs. So very reasonable option for our customers that need to use it. And moving on to our investors, tons of options. First up are non-QM alt docs. So again, bank statement or similar for our investment properties. Coming in today at 7.125 rate. Final APR 7.466. And we'll compare that to our other options here for investments. First up, our 30-year fixed conventional option. Remember, there are no government programs, so no USDA, VA, or FHA. But our conventional comes in today, 6.75, final APR 7.095. So it's cheaper than non-QM, which is normal. That's awesome. But not cheaper than our favorite options, our DSCR options. Our investor loans require no income, no employment info. Simply use the estimated rents from the appraisal to determine a DSCR ratio. The estimated rents can cover the estimated expenses, aka the property will cash flow. That's a ratio of 1 or higher. For all the demos here, we use a ratio of 1.5 so we can get all the programs to show up. First up here, our 3-year prepayment penalty option. Rates come in today at 6.75. Final APR 7.054, squeaking a little bit by conventional there. And when we add a 5-year prepayment penalty, we can get rates even lower, 6.5. Final APR 6.836, which is beating conventional by a little bit there, which is awesome. And our final DSCR option, the no prepayment penalty option. This is a good option for the states that don't allow a prepay or investors that don't want it. No problem. We have rates as low as 7.125, final APR 7.466. So notice that's a touch higher than conventional, which is typically normal. Investors would still more commonly choose the DSCR over a conventional loan, even when the cost is substantially higher. Right now, they're very similar. And the final 2 options here, a little bit of change for the first time in a couple weeks on our 30-year fixed second mortgage option. So many of our customers have a low rate first mortgage, but still need some cash out. Don't want to touch that low rate first mortgage. We can do a fixed rate second mortgage for much lower rates than a HELOC, which is typically the alternative option. So a fixed rate second mortgage for a primary home, rates come in today 8.5, final APR 8.930. And these are non-QM programs, so we can use bank statements, 1099s, etc. And same thing for our investors to get cash out of investment property without touching that first mortgage. Rates as low as 10, final APR 10.221. And HELOCs are very rare for our investments, so definitely a great option for our investors. And now, let's switch into our topic for today. Jose is going to discuss our interest-only loan option. So again, that's a pretty cool option we have. We don't always get to present that on a live pricing demo because it is a little bit of a special feature that we have, especially on all our non-QM. So Jose, let's check out our options, particularly for our investors looking to maximize cash flow for our interest-only programs.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Daily Mortgage Rates Live with the Mortgage Calculator. Great thing about this program, it's available to all borrower groups, primary homes, second homes, investors. You may have different reasons why you're going interest only, right? The borrower may say, hey, I'm only going to be in the property a few years. I want the highest cash flow. I'm going to refinance it anyhow. So whatever may be the reason, maybe they need the interest only payment in order to qualify. This could be applicable for primary, second home, or obviously an investor as well. What you do have to be aware of is make sure that if that is the reason for selecting interest only, that the option being selected does underwrite the borrower's payment based on the interest only payment and not the fully amortizing payment. Now, this is a great tool, especially for our debt service coverage ratio loans, where so much is riding on being above a 1.0 DSCR. So let me go ahead and share our great interest-only options that we have for you today in a few different income types. So our first option is our full doc 30-year amortization interest only. Now be aware, interest only is available in a 30-year amortization or a 40-year amortization, both resulting in much different payment requirements for the borrower after the interest only period expires. On the 30-year amortization option, it is 10-year interest only for this option, and then after the interest only period is over, the loan converts to a 20-year fully amortizing loan. The 40-year interest only option, after the 10-year interest only option expires, the loan converts to a 30-year fully amortizing loan. So two very different payments there at the end, which is why you'll see a little bit of a difference in the cost for the 30 and the 40 year. So our lowest cost option here for a 30-year interest-only option on a full doc primary is 9.25, and you can buy that down all the way to 8.25% rate. Now you can see the difference in the 40-year same product. 9.25 is costing 1.375, and our lowest cost option is now 8.375 instead of 8.25 that we had in the 30-year option. Now our 40-year interest-only bank statement loan, again for 90% LTV, which is our maximum LTV, 9.25 lowest cost option, and you can buy that down to 8.875 for our 40-year bank statement, 40-year interest-only option. Now we have our 40-year interest-only 1099, a little bit lower on the rate, 9.25 lowest cost option, and 8.625 lowest rate option at a cost of 2.5 points. Now for some DSCR action here for our investors. Now I am happy to announce that the 15% down DSCR purchase option, which is also obviously 85% LTV, does have a 30-year amortization interest only option. This is amazing. 8.374 is our lowest cost option at par. And look at that buy down rate. You can buy that down all the way to 6.999. And this is not a typo. This is for our 30-year amortization interest only, 85% LTV DSCR purchase. So this is what we were looking for to make sure that we makes it easier to close those 85% LTV DSCR loans above a 1.0 DSCR. So now there is no 40-year interest-only amortization on the 80% LTV option. Here's our 20% down, 80% LTV option, 30-year amortization with interest only. And look at these rates, 7.25 with a lender credit actually there. That's amazing. And look at that, 6.375, our lowest rate option. It's pretty amazing considering this is an interest-only loan, which has a higher cost than non-interest-only loan. And then our same option here as a DSCR, 40-year purchase, 80% LTV, and still amazing rate, 7.875, lowest cost option at par. And we can buy that down to 7.25% rate. And for our cash out options, last two options here are for DSCR cash outs. 75% LTV on our 30-year amortization interest only option. 7.125 at par and 6.375 lowest rate option at a cost of 3.1 points. And last but not least, our 40-year amortization interest only DSCR cash out, 75% LTV. And we do have a little bit of a lender credit here. Our lowest cost option, 7.75 with a 0.15 lender credit. And we can buy that down all the way to 7% interest rate at a cost of 3.35 for our DSCR. 40-year amortization, interest only cash out refi at a 75% LTV. So plenty of options now for the borrowers to qualify on these DSCR loans. If you're having an issue making it to the 1.1% or 1.0 or 1.25 or 1.5, consider an interest only option as a viable solution to get you to the needed DSCR.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap it up then. Some great options there. Remember that we do this at 11 a.m. Eastern every weekday where we go through the live rates and then do a deep dive into a different loan topic. So we'll be back with a new topic tomorrow. We appreciate everybody tuning in.